Hello everyone, as I put this up, XRP is currently trading at $2.82. How is everyone doing? Look, I understand this whole thing might make you giggle a little, don't you think? However, if you're feeling a little down about things, I think you'll feel much better by the time we're done here. You really don't need to worry about this, I promise. I'm merely playing around here. But really, 11 distinct XRP chart experts have provided me with some insightful remark and analysis. Get this too. Almost all of the content I'm presenting is from today, as if practically everything is from the past few hours. We're discussing reactions to what has been happening that have just come off the press. Now, let me tell you the truth. Indeed, XRP suffered, but what? The entire market did as well. Check out the live coin watch. It's similar to gazing out into a red ocean. This catastrophe isn't limited to XRP. Nothing about XRP is essentially flawed. It's simply one of those things that affect the entire market. Yes, we continue to drop. Let me put this out there before we go any further. Right now, we're at $2.81, which undoubtedly feels pretty bad. I'm not some guy from Wall Street or something. This has no financial background. I am by no means offering you financial advice, and you should not rely any decisions you make about buying or selling on what I say. As a hobby, I enjoy creating these YouTube videos as a crypto enthusiast. To be honest, it's simply for fun. Additionally, Bitcoin isn't exactly dominating the market. The amount is now $112,742. However, let's put all of this madness into context. Check this out. Then, I took this post from Galaxy, a chart analyst. I had to share that as he was discussing Bitcoin because, it really puts things in perspective. This is the offer. What do we ordinary people do each and every time we encounter one of these difficult times? We become agitated and begin to panic. They can attempt to join Straf from a distance if they are having trouble sleeping. Here's the crazy part though. Such incidents are frequent. I keep encouraging you folks to expect these crypto roller coaster situations for precisely this reason. This is the way it is, according to 16 years of statistics. Therefore, why are we acting surprised when our portfolios suffer when cryptocurrency does what it has essentially always done for the past 16 years? That is, it is completely typical and volatile. That's simply the game's name. Look, your net worth may have decreased. Mine did in fact take a significant knock. But guess what? What the heck? Overall, the trend has been positive. This whole asset class has been increasing since day one. Not every year, of course, but cycle after cycle. I'm invested in things that increase in value over time. So why would I lose everything because my portfolio occasionally plummets? The price reduction does not imply that we are all going to zero and that everything is broken. People, that's not what this means. Clap, clap. When I include the claps, you can be sure I'm being serious. This was a really good point made by Galaxy. Since $30,000, every dip has been forgotten and never discussed. This one is probably going to turn out the same. Look at this chart that dates back to the beginning of 2024. Have you noticed all those dips? Have you noticed how frequently these occur? And I promise you that somewhere on the planet, people were actually losing sleep because they thought the world was ending with each one of these drips. Each and every one. But did that make sense? Was all that stressing out worth it in hindsight? When you see how things really work out, was it helpful to anyone, or was it just, kind of pointless and irrational? Thus, we find ourselves in yet another of these situations. What do you anticipate happening? This is likely to continue its upward trend, in my opinion, just letting you know. Okay, so this is what Mustache, the chart analyst, just told us. The total 3 chart is what he is examining. With the exception of Bitcoin and Ethereum, that is essentially every cryptocurrency in the top 125. We are discussing all of the altcoins that are currently displayed on your screen. Mustache also had some quite comforting things to say to everyone. I see a lot of folks that are afraid. Avoid focusing on the shorter time frame. People, macro is what matters. In essence, he's telling you to zoom out to view the wider picture, rather than focusing on those minute-by-minute charts that will make you crazy. This is when it gets really intriguing. He is pointing out that similar to 2021, the number 3 has created what is known as an inverse head and shoulders pattern. Better, more, it has already broken out from that pattern. Better yet, the retest has also been completed. According to him, this is merely a dip before a rise. And to be honest, I completely agree with that line of thought. I think that scenario is pretty damned likely. This is yet another eye-opening masterpiece from Mustache. He is displaying the Tether dominance chart to us. Basically, what percentage of the market capitalization is made up of individuals sitting in Tether, the reliable coin where everyone puts their money when they're nervous. And you know what? It's disintegrating. Now take a moment to consider this. Why might the supremacy of Tether decline? It's not that difficult, is it? What happens to the money when people stop storing stable coins? Let's go right to altcoins, the topic we really care about. Mustache did it just right. The fact that this repair is a gift will soon be recognized. He is pointing out that Tether dominance recently broke to the negative from the ascending expanding wedge, a 7-month pattern. It's just conducting a small retest of that breakdown right now, which is very typical. Here's the worst part though. Upon completion of that retest, altcoins will surge once more. To be honest, this makes perfect sense. In stablecoins, people have been waiting for the appropriate time by sitting on the sidelines. This is what cryptocurrency chart analysts posted this morning. I'll start by providing some background. XRP was trading higher than it is currently when he wrote this. It was around $2.93 back then, and it's currently down to $2.81. Yes, since his post, things have gotten a little worse. This is his statement: "We are in danger if the support fails. To observe a recovery, an hourly candle must close above the red." He's referring to the red line, which is slightly above $3. Something in the range of $3.02 or $3.03 is what I'm thinking. To give him credit, he has been predicting this possible breakdown for some time. He has been warning everyone that we might notice some signs of weakening. I have to give him credit, really. He isn't particularly surprised by any of this. He has been keeping everyone informed as events have unfolded, but it's not as if he believes that the end of the world is imminent. To be honest, if you've been following his analysis, what we're witnessing today isn't really shocking. Let's be honest here too. The levels he has been warning about have not yet been reached. We might or might not do so. Heck, by the time you watch this video, the price may have dropped much further. To be honest, I don't know. Compared to me right now, you people watching this are essentially time travelers. You are far more aware of what transpired next than I am. Here's an intriguing development. On July 29th, I discovered this post from Lev Crypto, which I had already shared when it was first published. His timing was perfect, even though we were only speaking a few days earlier. He pointed out that on such shorter timescales, XRP was beginning to appear somewhat worn out. According to his chart analysis, the bulls would surge back in after a decline to about $2.60. Don't get me wrong, this man remains extremely optimistic about the long term. He's discussing how XRP might soar above $5, but this is what really caught his attention. In fact, while very few others were predicting this possible reversal, he forewarned us about it. Although we haven't yet reached the lows he spoke of, we are, in all honesty, coming very close to what a number of analysts hinted at in the days leading up to this whole situation. We discussed price activity in several recent videos, and I recall talking about this. Some analysts were speculating, but they weren't claiming that it was certain or anything. They were stating that, given the charts, it wouldn't be shocking if XRP fell toward the $2.80 mark. Look, this type of thing just occurs occasionally when Bitcoin and the larger markets begin to decline. You know, it's not truly the end of the world. In a recent article, Dark Defender pointed out that XRP essentially hit the fourth wave dip he was monitoring on the daily chart. Take a look, and what do you know? He's right to call this back 4 days before the relocation, on July 29th. I must now be fair in this situation. On this one, he wasn't exactly the sole voice in the wilderness. However, he did flag it early, so credit where credit is due. He particularly warned about that $2.85 level, and he has this screenshot to support his claim. The problem is that there were other analysts in that ballpark who were speculating on comparable figures, and when those calls were released, I made sure to draw attention to them. Before the Dark Defender's post, some of these people were even discussing this possibility. An excellent illustration would be this chart guy, Greg Crypto just shared one of those timeless "I'm afraid I told you so" moments about XRP on social media this